October 12th, 2012, Friday. The sun had just risen as Midas jumped down into the pit. Connors was waiting for him on the other side. "You harnessed?" Connors said loudly. "Yes, I had to check it myself since Lucy's on vacation." Midas finished his sentence as he saw a steel block hurtling at his head. Midas' reflexes were quick enough to allow him to duck. "Never duck! We went over this all week! Your power is in your head, not your arms. Now, protect yourself," Connors barked. Midas did as he was taught that week. He did it slow at first, but from constant drilling it was becoming second nature. Energy was created in a bubble around him and held solid with the Omni power. It took a while to let just visible light through, but now his invisible force bubble was instantly around him. Connors hurled another block at the bubble with enough force to shatter the block. Connors started throwing the blocks faster and faster. Then he started throwing lightning bolts in with the fray. To those outside the bubble, it must have sounded like a battle zone. Inside, Midas heard nothing. Connors flew directly at the bubble and punched it with his immense super strength. The bubble burst in a flash of energy, and Midas was in the red bench room. "How do you keep doing that?" Midas said as he ran out and jumped down into the pit. "Don't run and jump." Connors fired a lightning bolt past the place Midas was standing and blew the steel blocks into pieces. Midas came out of the dugout and calmed himself for a moment. His force bubble surrounded him again. The bubble flew over and down into the pit. "You have to start using your power like you would your hands and feet. Look at She, an Olympian. They never climb in or out of anything," Connors said. "How can you keep benching me? I thought I was supposed to be an Omni." "You are, but you have just a nub of the power you will have. Now, show me your blast," Connors said as he held his ground. Midas quickly fired a force blast that came from the outside of his bubble and continued into Connors. Connors didn't try and hold his ground. He let the blast knock him backward. Connors' shirt was torn to shreds. "I think I will take you up on the idea of a nano-armor wardrobe. Going through shirts like this is just nuts," Connors said. Midas walked over and thought about the liquid armor he was wearing. A version of the high-tech heavy armor was now made for Connors. "Here you go," Midas said. "Do you think one of the hitters will be able to punch through my force bubble?" "Not a chance. I'm the strongest thing that will ever hit you. Just with what you can do now, you're 1,000 times more protected than Olympian. I'm going to change in the dugout. Practice your forces while I'm gone." Midas made the force bubble around himself and started bombarding the other side of the pit. Fire sprayed the other side of the pit, and the steel blocks were melted to slag. The steel was then frozen to near absolute zero. His telekinetic blast shattered the icy steel into a fine dust. The dust quickly settled as Midas increased gravity to clear the air. "Good," Connors said from the edge of the pit. "Now, I throw and you use your lightning to destroy the blocks before they hit your shield." Midas used his power to sense all around him, while Connors used telekinesis to throw blocks at him from all angles. Midas charged his bubble and was ready to cut loose with lightning bolts. Midas had to keep defending himself until lunchtime. Connors then relented and said, "Good job, let's eat." During lunch in the hotel dining area, Midas had one burning question he wanted to ask. "Why didn't you tell me this right when I got here? I mean, if you knew all along, why didn't you tell me?" "3 reasons." Connors started to ready his answer. "First was for you to develop some control before we moved on. If I wasn't confident with your transmutation ability, I wasn't going to teach you how to do lightning. Second is easy. It was about your ego. Anyone who receives things too fast and too easy usually gets spoiled. You've had bones broken and had a small period of knowing what those of lesser power go through. I seriously doubt you will ever take your power for granted after all the times you were on the bottom of the pile as an anchor. Yeah, it was really hard at first. Boy, I didn't think I could do anything right the first few weeks." "What was the third reason?" "Darkspeed and the others. Darkspeed needed to get the gears in his brain working right. The others needed to learn how to shoulder the load without an Omni on their side. You all needed to learn how to be a team. I think you've done that." Midas stared at Connors while he ate. "You knew this is how we would end up, didn't you? You may be the first Omni I've trained, but I've trained hundreds of superheroes. After lunch, we're going to work on you making multiple force bubbles to protect several targets while you're fighting. Why can't I just make a force field close to my body, like Shogun's?" Connors shook his head. "That takes longer to learn, and I want you to be bench-proof by your first match with second team." "Is there such a thing as bench-proof?" Midas asked. "With your power, if you see the enemy coming, you should be able to stay off the bench." "What about caution? Have you ever felt her fear power? Nope, my mental shield keeps her out. Yours will too. Can you teach me that? Sorry, I can't. I can't attack you mentally, but I can tell you how to get it to turn way up. How? Don't think about the fear. Focus on something else and your power will push the fear aside, Connor said. That's easy for you to say. You've never been hit by her fear power. Connors laughed and looked thoughtfully at Midas. If you had seen the things these eyes had seen, you wouldn't think that much of a little girl and her fear power. Midas remembered what she said about Manchester Jack and Omni getting wet during the Coalition's war. He probably had seen things scarier than caution. The sun was setting and Midas was exhausted from his all-day drills. Putting the pit back together even seemed like it was a big deal. Go get some sleep, Connor said to Midas. What are you doing tonight? Midas asked. Why? It's Friday night, and Olympian and I usually watch football matches that his father sends in from Europe. I've kind of gotten used to watching some kind of sports on Friday night. What do you say? Well, I'm not going anywhere. Why not? Good. Let me get a shower, and then we can send Reggie down to the kitchen for something. What about the refrigerators I put in the dorm? They ate everything up during finals. Those things are empty. We usually grab more stuff on Sunday when we're home, but nobody's been back. Give me about an hour. I'll take care of it, Connor said as he flew straight up. Midas found his way back to his room and cleaned up quickly. He jumped on the vid phone and started talking to his mother about everything, except what he was doing with his training. Alex was in the background, still wearing his armor. His mother said she could only get him out of it for school. Both of his parents expressed an interest in the homeschooling program that Connors talked about. Midas' father also noted how much more comfortable Midas was. He thought he was really taking to his training at Alpha. Even though his parents missed him greatly, they were happy he was adjusting so well. When he was done with his call, Midas came out of his room and into the common room. Reggie and other bots were moving boxes and bags. Connors was bringing in something too. What is all this stuff? Midas asked. Groceries from all over. I figured I'd restock everything and have something special for tonight. Connors unzipped an insulated bag and pulled out 3 cardboard boxes. Oh, you got pizzas! Oh, you got pizzas. Bite your tongue. This is not just pizza. It's art. It's love in a flat box. This is the original Chicago deep dish, hot out of the oven just a few minutes ago, Connors said in a relaxed manner he hadn't seen before. Wow, that smells good. And I have Blu-rays from all the football games played in Europe for the last 2 weeks. Which ones do you want to watch? I don't care. I just watch them because I like watching them with someone. Olympian is the funniest. He goes nuts when he watches Greece play. Then we'll watch the Greek game. Here, get yourself a slice. Midas tried to pick up a piece of pizza with his hands and stopped. He used his telekinesis to place the thick, cheesy slice on a plate. See? Trying to use my power like my hands. This is the best pizza. My stepfather used to get this for us every week, Connor said. I thought you were from England. I've been from everywhere, Connor said as he put the disc into the player. During the game, Connor seemed to lose his tough exterior and start to relax. Midas noticed he started to get excited over the game the same way Olympian did. Can I ask you a question? Midas asked. Sure. What was it like to see Omni fight? How did he fight? Quick and decisive. If he fought you, it was over quick. When his Omni power boiled to the surface, you were sunk. Surface? Oh, hey, that's right. You haven't tried that. There is one thing that Omni could do that I could never do, and only a true Omni can do it. He would concentrate on the connection between him and the Omni power. He would let it rise in him and charge his body like a battery. When it was really flowing, his eyes would glow a deep blue, the whole eye. You could see energy crackle in the blue. It was intimidating. I thought Omni always wore his helmet.